We are delighted that the conference over the last 2 days was graced by a right blend of academicians and practitioners who were able to discuss legal and judicial reforms which are in need of this time. From the papers read at the conference, the observations of the honorable judges, eminent scholars, and senior advocates, we have been able to draft recommendation of the conference. We wish to present these recommendations to Law Justice Commission of Pakistan, Ministry of Law and Justice, and parliamentary committees. These recommendations may well be accepted by the above in the rules and amendments be made accordingly in law. I will now call upon Sahibzada Uzair Hashim, Advocate and CEO of KLC, to present these recommendations compiled by this International Law Conference. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khatimin nabiyyin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Honorable guests, distinguished scholars, esteemed participants, I welcome and thank you for your gracious participation throughout the conference. I thank and welcome His Excellency the Honorable Governor of Punjab, who has honored our request and has graced us with his presence for the concluding session of the conference. It is an immense pleasure to stand before you today as we are near the conclusion of the International Law Conference 2024, hosted by Kahuta Law College, in collaboration with Islamic Research Institute, International Islamic University, Islamabad. This conference has been an extraordinary gathering. To make this conference fruitful, we extended invitations to universities across Pakistan, legal institutions, bar councils, bar associations, and all concerned stakeholders to contribute papers on the themes of the conference, which are criminal justice reforms and judicial reforms. We are proud to announce that in response to our call for papers, we received 52 abstracts, out of which 36 were accepted and published in our book of abstracts. From these submissions, 29 full papers were received, and after a rigorous review, 21 papers were accepted for presentation in the conference. During the course of these 2 days, 16 papers have been presented in the conference. On the first day of the conference, 3 sessions were held. The chief guest for the inaugural session was Honorable Professor Dr. Ziaul Haq, Director General, Islamic Research Institute, and former Dean Faculty of Sharia and Law, IIUI. In the second session of the conference, office bearers of Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Kahuta, Gujar Khan, Kallar Saida, Mia Wali, and Fateh Jang Bar Associations and members of Islamabad and Punjab Bar Council were the honorable guests. The last session on the first day was graced by Honorable Dr. Khalid Masood, Judge Shariat Appellate Bench, Supreme Court of Pakistan, Honorable Justice Tariq Mahmood Jahangiri, Islamabad High Court, and Honorable Dr. Joe Chitlick from United States, Fulbright Specialist and Senior Fellow at Center for Law and Religion at Emory University, USA. Today, in the first session, papers were presented and Director General, National Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorism Finance Authority, Dr. Ehsan Sadiq, was the chief guest of the session. In the second session, we were joined by a panel of senior lawyers, representatives of bars, and senior academicians for a discussion on the themes of the conference. Now, in the light of insightful papers presented, the addresses delivered by our honorable guests, the panel discussions, and the rich deliberations that took place during this conference, I present the following recommendations for consideration and implementation. Number one, the legal obligation of police officers to register FIRs without prejudice must be strengthened, and create independent oversight committees to oversee police compliance with FIR registration, examine complaints about non-compliance. Amendments should be made in the relevant laws to add consequences for the law enforcement officers for non-compliance of laws. Number two, pre-trial detention and bail should be standardized through clear regulations to narrow down the discretionary powers of the judges. Number three, preventive detention must be limited to exceptional cases, with the removal of blanket clauses and vague definitions which are susceptible to misuse and misinterpretation. Number four, establish continuous learning education (CLE) programs that focus on legal technologies for law schools, practicing lawyers, judges, court staff on the implementation and use of new technologies to enhance professional development and operational efficiency. Number five, legislate to grant legal weight to digital signature and electronic documents, thereby enhancing the legitimacy of electronic transactions. Enact comprehensive cyber laws that address electronic evidence, online dispute resolution, and data protection to create a secure digital environment. Number six, benches be constituted according to specialization of judges and subject matter. For merit-based appointment of judges of lower tier judiciary and justices of apex courts. Amendments in Articles 175A, 177 is proposed setting a criteria for such appointments. Number seven, introduce a new entry in the Family Courts Act 1964 to implement shared parenting arrangements during preliminary reconciliation. The concept of shared parenting should be introduced and strengthened in law. At the end, once again, we extend our deepest gratitude to His Excellency, the Honorable Governor Punjab, for gracing us with his esteemed presence at this conference. I hope that this conference brings positive and meaningful changes in laws and our judicial culture as well. Thank you very much.